How-to guide for New Year's resolutions inspired by Elon Musk, Warren Buffett, and Dwayne Johnson. Elon Musk, the real-life Iron Man. Elon Musk set ambitious goals and worked towards them with a sense of urgency. Elon Musk is known for his ambitious goals, such as colonizing Mars and revolutionizing transportation with electric cars. He sets deadlines for himself and his team, and works tirelessly to achieve them. To follow in his footsteps, set ambitious goals for yourself and work towards them with a sense of urgency. Break down your goals into smaller, achievable tasks, and track your progress regularly.
My days are very long and complicated, as you might imagine.
Yeah.
And there's a great deal of context switching. So there's a meme I like called like relating to doom, where it's like fear is not the mind killer, context switching is. So switching context is quite painful, but I do generally try to divide companies, so it's predominantly one company on one day. So today is a Tesla day, for example. Although I might end up at Twitter late tonight, and then tomorrow would be partly a Tesla day as well, but sort of half Twitter, and then Thursday would be sort of a half SpaceX, half Tesla day. But these things are somewhat intertwined, so the time management is extremely difficult. And this is going to sound pretty strange, but I only have one part-time assistant.
How many days a week is that? The part-time?
I mean, I suppose Alice works, it would technically be full-time, but it's not. I do most of the scheduling myself. And the reason I do that is because it's impossible for someone else to know what the priorities are. And since the most valuable thing I have is time, I schedule it myself, for the most part.
So if you come into Tesla today, do you have a series of meetings set up?
Yeah.
Or do you come in with, something on your mind and you go in and see people? I mean, how structured is this? Or if you shop at Twitter, in terms of the people working for you, how do they handle that?
So today I have several hours of scheduled meetings at Twitter. So there are a number of things that operate on a weekly cadence. And so those meetings are already set up. And then I have supplemental meetings at the end of the day. But to be clear, I won't be going to sleep until probably 2 a.m. or something like that. I'll be working almost the entire time.
And
Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett, invest in yourself. Warren Buffett is one of the most successful investors of all time, but he also recognizes the importance of investing in yourself. He reads for hours every day, and has said that the best investment you can make is in yourself. To follow in his footsteps, commit to learning something new every day. Read books, take courses, or attend seminars to improve your skills and knowledge.
People always say, well, who should I go to work for when I get out? And I've got a very simple answer. We may elaborate more on this as we go along, but the real thing to do is to get going and for some institution or individual that you admire. I mean, it's crazy to take in between jobs just because they look good on your resume or because you get a little higher starting pay. I was up at Harvard a while back, and a very nice young guy picked me up at the airport, Harvard Business School attendee, and he said, I went to undergrad here, and then I worked for X and Y and Z, and now I've come here. And he said, I thought it would really round up my resume perfectly if I went to work now for a big management consulting firm. And I said, well, is that what you want to do? And he said, no, but he said, that's the perfect resume. And I said, well, what are you going to start doing once you like? And he said, well, I'll get to that someday. And I said, well, your plan sounds to me a lot like saving up sex for your old age. It just doesn't make a lot of sense. I told that same group, I said, go to work for whoever you admire the most. And I said, you can't get a bad result. You'll jump out of bed in the morning and you'll be having fun. And Dean called me up a couple of weeks later. He said, what'd you tell those kids? He said, they're all becoming self-employed. So you've got to temper that advice a little bit. Play one game to have you, have you pretend I made you a great offer. And I've told you that you could pick any one of your classmates, and you now know each other probably pretty well after being here for a while. You can pick, you have 24 hours to think it over, and you can pick any one of your classmates, and you get 10% of their earnings for the rest of their lives. And I ask you, what goes through your mind in determining which one of those you would pick? You can't pick the one with the richest father. That doesn't count. I mean, you've got to do this on merit. But you probably wouldn't pick the person who gets the highest grades in the class. I mean, there's nothing wrong with getting the highest grades in the class, but that isn't going to be the quality that sets apart a big winner from the rest of the pack. Think about who you would pick and why. And I think you'll find when you get through, you'll pick some individual. You've all got the ability. You wouldn't be here otherwise. And you've all got the energy. I mean, you've got, the initiative is here. The intelligence is here throughout the class. But some of you are going to be bigger winners than others. And it gets down to a bunch of qualities that, interestingly enough, are self-made. I mean, it's not how tall you are. It's not whether you can kick a football 60 yards. It's not whether you can run the 100-yard dash in 10 seconds. It's not whether you're the best-looking person in the room. It's a whole bunch of qualities that really come out of Ben Franklin or the Boy Scout code or whatever it may be. I mean, it's integrity, it's honesty, it's generosity, it's being willing to do more than your share. It's just all those qualities that are self-selected. And then if you look on the other side of the ledger, because there's always a catch to these, free gifts and genie jokes. So you also have to, and this is the fun part, you also have to sell short one of your classmates and pay 10% of what they do. So who do you think is going to do the worst in the class? This is way more fun. And think about it again. And again, it isn't the person with the lowest grades or anything of the sort. It's the person who just doesn't shape up in the character department. We look for three things when we hire people. We look for intelligence, we look for initiative or energy, and we look for integrity. And if they don't have the latter, the first two will kill you. Because if you're going to get somebody without integrity, you want them lazy and dumb. I mean, you don't want them smart and energetic. So it's that third quality, but everything about that quality is your choice. You can't change the way you are wired much, but you can change a lot of what you do with that wiring. And it's the habits that you generate now on those qualities or those negative qualities. I mean, the person who always, claims credit for things they didn't do, that always cuts corners, that you can't count on. I mean, in the end, those are habit patterns. And the time to form the right habits is when you're your age. I mean, it doesn't do me much good to get golf lessons now. If I'd gotten golf lessons when I was your age, I might be a decent golfer. But someone once said the chains of habit are too light to be felt until they're too heavy to be broken. And I see that all the time. I see people with habit patterns that are self-destructive when they're 50 or 60, and they really can't change it. They're imprisoned by that. But you're not imprisoned by anything. So when you write down the qualities of that person that you'd like to buy 10% of, look at that list and ask yourself, is there anything on that list I couldn't do? The answer is there won't be. And when you look at the person you sell short, and you look at those qualities that you don't like, if you see any of those in yourself, egotism, whatever it may be, selfishness, you can get rid of that. I mean, that is not ordained. And if you follow that, and Ben Franklin did this, and my old boss Ben Graham did this at early ages in their young teens. Ben Graham looked around and he said, who do I admire? And he wanted to be admired himself, and he said, why do I admire these other people? And he said, if I admire them for these reasons, maybe other people will admire me if I behave in a similar manner. And he decided what kind of a person he wanted to be. And if you follow that, at the end, you'll be the person you want to buy 10% of. I mean, that's the goal in the end. And it's something that's achievable by everybody in this room. So that's the end of the sermon.
Dwayne Johnson, embrace failure and keep pushing forward. Dwayne Johnson, also known as The Rock, is a former professional wrestler turned actor and entrepreneur. He has faced many setbacks in his life, but he never gave up. He embraced failure as a learning opportunity, and used it to fuel his success. To follow in his footsteps, don't be afraid to fail. Accept that failure is a natural part of the learning process, and use it to motivate yourself to keep pushing forward. Remember, the key to success is persistence and hard work. Set ambitious goals, invest in yourself, and embrace failure as a learning opportunity. With these tips, you'll be well on your way to achieving your New Year's resolutions and making 2024 your best year yet.
4 o'clock in the morning, I wake up. 4:30, 4:45, I'm doing some sort of cardio. Open these garage doors. It's still dark outside. I do this, and then I'll have breakfast, and then I will go do all my strength and conditioning training at a gym for about an hour, and then I'll go to set. We all average probably about 5 hours of sleep. It's 4:45 a.m. It's still dark outside. Look at that. The lights just went out, and I'm getting ready to kill this AM cardio. You can't even see me, but it's going to be so good. It's bad. Focus! If you do anything, you never want to do anything half-assed, especially when it comes to your training. Get in, be intense, execute on it, and get out. Everybody, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson here, and I'm going to share with you what I used to eat at the height of my professional wrestling career, and what I've also ate in order to get in shape for my biggest roles, and what I typically eat these days. I can confirm it to a certain degree that I was eating many pounds of food per day, including a lot of cod. And as a matter of fact, I just recently transitioned my cod meals of the day to salmon. So again, the confirmation is there. Now, whether it's 10 pounds of food per day, I'm not quite too sure. I can tell you with a little bit of uncertainty because I failed math, I was probably at that time ingesting about anywhere between 6 to, well, I would say possible, almost 8,000 calories a day. My diet has honestly pretty much remained the same for the past 5 to 10 years. I do eat 5 to 6, sometimes 7 meals a day. Whether or not I'm training for a role, which usually I am training for some sort of role or trying to maintain for the role that I'm currently in. My days back then as well as now are the same. I'll wake up and I will have breakfast, which consists of a cream of rice or an oatmeal, usually with some buffalo and some eggs. My meal too is usually after my workout. That will consist of a carb, usually a rice, like a fast-acting carb, or maybe even a sweet potato sometimes, usually a protein, and that one is usually chicken. And then I'll go into whatever the third meal is. That is probably either another chicken and a rice, or it could be a buffalo as well with some greens. And then again, just throughout the day, I'll have some fish, either some cod or some salmon, which I hate, by the way. I hate salmon. I have salmon out of my ears. But it's a great fish in terms of your health and fitness. And then again, I'll just continue to eat. And then usually before bed, I will have a balance of protein and a carbohydrate and some greens before bed. I love my cheat days. They have become legendary. Don't cheat yourself. Treat yourself, my friends. Enjoy your cheat day. Which is a good thing. I do believe in working hard throughout the week and earning your cheat meals at the end of the week. My go-to cheat meal is usually, if I can find an amazing burger spot that has an amazing cheeseburger, and then I'll throw bacon on there, avocado, lettuce, tomato, onion, some great fries. I'll do that. Then some sort of sugar blast. I will have either some great cookies, or I have two amazing things. I have this amazing coffee cake, which is incredible, that I've been enjoying on my cheat days. And I also have tried this apple fritter bread, which is incredible. Well, I can credit my energy. One is the prep. So, being mentally prepared on what kind of day that I'm going to have and what kind of energy output is going to be required of me. I used to be just like a bat out of hell for many, many years, where I would just go and go and go and go and forget how important actually balancing things was, especially mentally. Over the years, I used to try and create my own energy drinks by adding a powdered caffeine to a powdered amino acid to then a powdered carbohydrate or whatever was needed at that time. And so I did that for many, many years. Myself and my business partner, Danny Garcia, who I've been very close to since I was 18 years old. Her husband, Dave Ramsey, is also my strength and conditioning coach. So the three of us, who are all heavily into health and fitness, we decided to create our own energy drink. And we decided to team up with some of the best formulators in the world. And so we were able to create the line of energy, Zoa Energy. We have converted a lot of people who have been otherwise adverse to drinking energy drinks because they felt they weren't safe. We've converted a lot of them. And we've also converted a lot of coffee drinkers too as well. So I have a Zoa in my hand and I drink this every morning. So I get asked this question all the time. If somebody's struggling with a diet, how can they maintain the discipline of it? Because, you know, look, everybody has great intentions. They want to do well. People want to get better, whatever the goals are. They want to gain weight. They want to lose weight. They want to maintain, whatever it is. Everyone's intention is the same. I always think what it comes down to, I think, is not only is it the discipline, but I also feel it comes down to the execution of it. When the execution sometimes sputters, it can be discouraging to people. So my advice is to, if it sputters, don't take it personal. You didn't fail at anything. It just means you need to regroup and re-examine the approach. Maybe you have to bring in an expert. Maybe you have to bring in more than one expert. Maybe you have to re-identify exactly what your goals are. But there's always a way to do it. The diet, you know, that is not easy. You know, it's a lot easier said than done because, you know, we all love food. We want to eat. We want to eat things that make us feel good. So I always tell people, try to be as disciplined as you can in the approach. And if it fails in one way, that's okay. Just redirect and we'll find another way.